Okay.
Yeah.
Listen up.
QA phone call / email. ADT is going to reach out to your customers kind of a week after or thereabouts and try and call them once or twice. Maybe send them an email to check up on them, that they're happy with everything, they got the app fine. I don't know the exact questions, but basically if they didn't get installed right, if the app didn't get set up right, and it's just issues, and ADT does get a hold of them, and they're like, yeah, stuff's not like how I wanted it to be, that can, make your account go bad until you get it fixed, is my understanding. So just make sure everything's smooth for the customer, all the equipment's installed, and then apps on their phone. And if they can't get the app because they don't have a phone or something, just make sure the tech knows that so you can kind of prime everybody for that.
Testing itself.
Yeah, there's if you look at your bad accounts, if that happens, it'll say failed QA call.
Yeah.
And then
The reason.
yeah, and then you call the customer, and you just have to call in to. There's a line that if any of you guys have one of those right now, just give it to me. I'll find the line that you call, and you just call the customer and said XYZ reason is fixed or whatever, and then once they do the call, then they'll clear the account.
Yeah.
If it's anything halfway negative, they're gonna fail it. So.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, you have a thought?
Yeah. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success.
Wow.
So you
gotta fail to be good.
Let's go.
I like that. That's a good one.
That's pretty funny.
I'm thankful for all the boys. We all keep motivating each other, and Maddie. We all keep motivating each other to keep going, keep pushing each other, never giving up. And thankful for water, staying hydrated, indoors and outdoors.
There we go.
I'm just grateful for air.
Yeah, air as well.
Air, water, and oxygen.
Best thing on earth.
Shelter, dude.
Samuel,
Yeah.
All right.
coleslaw.
Come on, coleslaw.
Samuel.
Ron, get up there. Be the custody. Alex, give me some pros and cons.
Let's go, Samuel.
That's really important.
Don't care, man.
It's really important. So,
Don't care.
seeing your own family. Don't care.
You don't have
Yeah, what can I help you with?
All right, you doing today, sir?
Oh, my dog's my alarm. I'm good, man.
Oh, I was just stopping by really quick. We're going to be working on Mr. James. He's 2 doors down over here. We're going to be testing out our alarm system within the next couple of hours. So
Yeah,
hearing
that's-
the alarms
that's
going
cool.
on. Yeah, we're just testing some things out for him. While I'm out here, I'm actually in charge of these in the neighborhood. I'm sure you see them around a little bit.
Yeah.
So with all the new move-ins, we just want people calling us for cameras and security instead of our competitors in the area. So
Oh, yeah, I already got it.
All right, ABT?
Yeah, Vivid. No, I got it.
Oh, you bid it? All right, so we do things a little bit different. We actually cover all the upfront costs in the new security system instead of having you pay for it all. So for you helping us out, keeping the sign out in your yard, we'll actually come in and cover the cost of a new security system and a couple cameras of your choice. Now what Mr. James went with were these outdoor cameras. They record 24/7 via your home while you're away. Talk to them as well. The whole reason we're doing this, there's actually been a couple home invasions in the neighborhood. I'm not sure if you heard about all that.
No, I've been there a long time. Nothing's really happened.
Oh really? How long have you been in the neighborhood?
45 years.
45 years. Well, I'm sure you've seen the change going on, right?
Not really. I mean, nothing's happened to me.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so just because it's happening in the neighborhood, we're just looking for proactive homes. So like I said, you advertise for us, we'll come in and cover all the upfront costs. Now, are you familiar with the security system by any chance?
Yeah, I got it. I got Vivid.
You got the Vivint? Oh yeah, that's what you said. How long have you been with them, if you don't mind?
I think like 6 years.
Very nice. Do you remember if it like blinks red and green, or if it's like a touchscreen panel?
It's a little bit older.
Really?
I don't
Because
use
we
it a lot.
might be compatible with them.
Okay.
I'll show you really
Yeah, you
real
can.
quick. She's on, she's off.
You can give them one.
Cool.
And I just looked at it, turns out not competitive. Damn, that's a panel. Yep.
Yeah, that's a panel.
That's my favorite transition. That's the best transition
We'll
there
get
is.
you.
Oh, they all green, blue.
Maybe it
red,
translates.
blue, wing.
It's like going like
All right, Alex, what'd you get?
I just
That's the
had,
easiest
it's the
transition.
best one.
one thing was like, you didn't acknowledge the dog objection, kind of blew over it. Maybe ask why he got the system, because he could bring up some crime and if you use that to buy it. And it made sense of advertising, the value of cameras and good transition, so.
Free money.
Good money.
Yeah, that was the big key right there, is because Ron was trying to say, oh, it's a safe neighborhood. he already told you he got Vivint. So if he said, oh, it's a safe neighborhood, yeah, what was the main reason you got Vivint then?
Yeah.
You just trapped him, now he's gonna have to tell you. And then when he tells you, oh, we got it because of the cameras, now you have something to go off of, because you can go off, if they have old cameras, hey, well, you wanted the cameras, we'll get you cameras that have better recording, we'll get you cameras that work better, we'll get you more cameras, maybe they just got one camera. You can build off the value, because he got Vivint for a reason, and if you can figure out why he got Vivint, then you can use that to sell him, and then he can't tell you that it's a safe neighborhood, because he got Vivint for a reason. But yeah, that was the only thing I could find. That was a very good pitch, so. Way to go, good job,
Let's go, Cam.
Alright, so today, I think we talk a lot about like our experiences and oh, this works for me and this works for me, and like a lot of times, sometimes we can kind of get lost with a lot of confusion. So I think that like hard statistics can sometimes help us out. And so I found this article, I think last year. It was written by Harvard Business Review. And so I wanted to just go through and just kind of popcorn read through this and then go how this can apply to our job and to what we do. So,
Cooper loves popcorn reading.
yeah. Alright, what separates the strongest salespeople from the weakest?
That's fine.
Alright, Grady, can you start off this first one for us?
What separates high-performing salespeople who exceed their quota?
Thank God you can solve an alarm.
Yeah, who wasn't it? Underperformers who miss their quotas by more than 25%.
Yeah. Alright, Al.
I recently conducted a research project involving nearly 800 salespeople and sales leaders to better answer this question. In addition, I have had the privilege to interview well over 1,000 top salespeople who sell for some of the world's best companies. The information from these two sources provides interesting insights about the attributes of high-performing top salespeople compared to the lesser successful counterparts.
Boom. Alright, so, first one. Caleb, can you read that for us?
Verbal acuity. This refers to a communication level where the meaning, nature, and importance of the words spoken by the salesperson are personally understood by the customer. For a salesperson to establish credibility requires that messages be conveyed at the recipient's communication level, not too far below the level of the words that the customer uses. On average, high-performing salespeople communicate between the 11th and 13th grade level when scored by Flesch-Kincaid test, as opposed to the 8th and 9th grade level for underperforming salespeople.
Got it. So what part of that is applicable to us? What does that mean for us?
You can't communicate, you're not going to perform.
Yep. So, spoken by the salesperson are personally understood by the customer. So if I'm speaking in the ghetto, what are those people's reading levels at?
Fire low.
Right. They want to speak how they're comfortable to be spoken to, right? So that's why you can lose, hey, what's going on, man? How are you? Like, you know, you can be more relaxed with them because that's how they're comfortable being communicated with. But we use the same sort of verbiage and the same sort of pitch when we go into nicer neighborhoods, Overland Park, Shawnee, and we're wondering like why we're not having some of the same success. Make sure that you're talking to that person the way that they like to be talked to, right? If they're a business person, they're used to performing in that environment, speaking professionally. So you're gonna make sure that's gonna establish credibility that you speak to the level that's personally understood by the customer, right? Not too far below the level of the words that the customer uses. So talk to your customer and then match and mirror, right? Figure out how they like to talk and then be a chameleon, right? The best salesman can sell anyone. So yeah, make sure that you're being a chameleon. That's one of the best words of advice that I can give you guys. All right.
Best salesman can sell.
Ron, can you read the next paragraph for us?
Achievement-oriented personality. 84% of the top performers tested scored very high in achievement orientation. They are fixated on achieving goals and continuously measure their performance in comparison to their goals. Another interesting statistic is that over 85% of top salespeople played an individual or team sport in high school. As a result, they are well equipped to function in competitive environments where self-discipline is a necessity. For example, 52% of high-performing salespeople indicated they were power users who take full advantage of the company's CRM technology and internal systems, compared to only 31% of underperforming salespeople.
Yeah, so I remember, it's important to remember, guys, like these are over 1,000 people that they've used for this study right here. So make sure that we continue to do that. I've heard a lot of guys, like, they're writing their goals on their mirror so that they see it every single day. And I also like the team aspect of this. So I think Nate is a really good example of, a lot of us think that, like, once we learn the job, that it's easy to go, like, oh, once I learn I can sell anywhere. But really the team environment is what pushes us all to reach those high levels. So I know, Nate, when you sold by yourself out in South Carolina, you sold like how many in a month?
In 6 weeks I did like 6 or something, or sorry, it was 10 weeks I did 10. And so I just averaged 1 a week. And then, yeah, like almost my first week out, I did almost 10. So.
Yeah. And then vets, feel free to chip in if you guys have, you know, stuff that you find useful as well. But yeah, make sure that we're going over our goals, and that's something that I do want to continue to do with you guys. So let's go over our goal boards, and yeah, we'll watch the podcast this week as they're talking about it as well. But typically, you'll see in July, you'll have rookies go one of two ways. A lot of people, like, they start getting the midsummer blues, and a lot of the novelty of the job has gone away. And if you don't have your goals set in stone and in place, it's easy to lose your motivation. So let's make sure that we can stay on top of that. Mike, you want to read the next?
Situational dominance. Situational dominance is a personal interaction strategy by which the customer accepts the salesperson's recommendations and follows his advice. While dominance is commonly associated with brute force, this is not the case in sales. It's simply how people judge others. People are continually sensing whether their position is superior to yours, relatively equal, or inferior in some way in turn. This impacts what they say during conversations and how they behave.
Alright. Colin.
A relaxed, dominant salesperson speaks freely and guides the conversation as he confidently shares his knowledge and opinions with the customer. An anxious, submissive salesperson is forced into reactive behavior, and his tendency is to operate under the direction of the customer, never being in control of the account. Situational dominance test scores of high-performing salespersons average 20% higher than underperforming salespeople.
Yeah. So yeah, the key to that one, right, is relaxed and dominant. So the key traits of a high-performing salesman are relaxed and dominant, and then a low-performing salesman, what do they say right there? Anxious and submissive. So try to remember that when you're on the doors. A lot of us, there's a lot that goes into this job, and it almost crowds your mind when you're trying to, like, think of everything that you're supposed to do. It is easier in, like, in sports. A lot of it's you guys can probably relate to it that way. But, like, I did racing, and there's so much that goes into racing, and you're trying to remember everything. And my dad would just write a note on my bar pad that just said perfect laps. And then it's just one thing. I say, okay, perfect laps, perfect laps. And it's one thing that's simple that you can remember, and it doesn't get crowded in your head, right? So that's something that you can use, like relaxed and dominant. Just tell yourself that, and it's like a good little reset that you guys can use in between the doors, just knowing that you're going into the right headspace when you're about to go up to that customer. Because if you want to be a top performer, okay, what's a top performer? Relaxed and dominant. I'm not going to let this person run over me, but I'm just going to be very relaxed, and I'm going to pick my way through this because I know that I'm the expert. So yeah, that's one thing you guys should remember for sure. Ronnie, can you read this one for us?
Inward pessimism. Over 90% of high-performing and underperforming salespeople describe themselves as optimists. However, upon further review, nearly 2/3 of high-performing salespeople actually exhibit pessimistic personality tendencies. I theorize the explanation for this dichotomy is that salespeople always have to maintain a positive attitude and pleasant demeanor while in front of customers. However, inward pessimism drives a salesperson to question the viability of the deal and credibility of the buyer. Therefore, top salespeople are more naturally driven to ask the customer tougher qualifying questions and are more likely to seek out meetings with senior level decision makers who ultimately decide which vendor will be selected.
Yep. All right, so when I first read this almost seems like counterintuitive, you know, that high-performing salespeople are sometimes pessimistic. What are some ideas? Why do you think that someone that's pessimistic would have higher sales?
They're just hard on themselves. The people have expectations, and they know what they can do. And I mean, it's like the bar of what we say is like, if I told you to jump 6 foot, you could probably jump up and touch it. But if I told you to jump 8, you jump a little higher than 6, but you could still touch 8. But if I told you to jump 12 foot, you might get to 10 and say you suck. But you jumped way higher than 8, but you suck. And then you'll always be striving for 12. So like in a way that's kind of negative, but it's very much a progressive way of thinking, because I've been shooting for 12 this whole time, jumping higher than anyone else who's going who was 6.
Yeah. But I think too, right, you're not content with how well that you did, because even though like some people, they'll get some sales and like, oh man, I got this, like I know what I'm doing, right? Or like if you're more pessimistic, you're thinking like, oh maybe I got lucky, or like how can I, they're always thinking of ways that they can continually get better. So yeah, make sure that you guys are analyzing every single day. At the end of the day, what are some things that you can get better at? All right.
And that's definitely I feel like that's definitely I'm proud of myself, but I'm not content mindset at all.
Uh-oh, who's gonna read this one?
I'll read it.
All right, go ahead.
Sales management impact. Does a salesperson's manager play a determining factor in achieving success? Study participants were asked, outside of setting my quota, my sales manager plays a key role in determining whether or not I make quota. Surprisingly, the response from high and underperformers was identical. 46% agreed with the statement and 54% were neutral or disagreed with it. Moreover, 69% of high-performing salespeople rated their sales manager as excellent or above average, compared to 49% of underperforming salespeople, indicating there is a correlation.
Right on.
Get it. Let's go, man.
Study participants were also asked to rank the different attributes of great sales managers. In order of priority, the top 3 factors for high-performing salespeople were leadership and management skills, practical experience and sales intuition, and communication and coaching skills. The top 3 factors for underperforming salespeople were industry experience and product knowledge, communication and coaching skills, and fights for the team. These results reveal how high and underperforming salespeople utilize their managers differently. Underperformers tend to use their managers to make up for the product and industry knowledge they lack.
Yeah. And so that's something that yeah, I know, you know, for myself, as your guys' managers, like I want to know how I can best help you guys. So if there's anything that I can do, or that you guys maybe feel like, you know, you can use some extra support on, like I want to be able to provide that for you guys. So yeah, anytime, feel free to text me, come to me, call me, and that's something that I want you guys to think of, like how do I feel best supported, and when am I performing the best, right? And I want to be able to workshop ways that I can help you guys have the most success. So.
I think one of the things that's implying, Mike, is it's saying that high performers for themselves learn the product inside and out, whereas underperformers tend to outsource a lot of their knowledge of the product to
They rely on their
managers. Like, and so there's nothing wrong with throwing a lifeline to your managers, like, oh, hey, does this do this? But it sounds like high performers, they've already used their own private time to kind of learn the product inside and out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Keith, can you read this part?
Sales organization influence. The research suggests that sales organization morale influences individual sales success. 53% of high-performing sales rated their sales organization's morale as being higher than most sales organizations. In comparison, only 37% of underperforming salespeople
rated morale higher than most companies. Sales organization accountability also influences individual quota achievement. 39% of high-performing salespeople strongly agree that salespeople at their